I like the little twisty knobs.
Hello and welcome to episode number 63 of Unrelenting on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2023. I am Darren O'Neill. I'm coming to you live from a bunker deep in the heart of Middle America, just outside of Chirac, where the rivers are running green, Gene. It's green.
As it should be.
As it always is. It's always a little green.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that Chicago still has money for the green.
They have no money whatsoever. Breaking news this past week, and I believe this was something that was mentioned on this show weeks ago. The city of Chicago realized it was probably a really, really, really bad idea to have the Taste of Chicago the same week of the NASCAR race.
Oh, really? They moved one?
Yes, they moved. Well, you can't move the race, I guess. So they moved the Taste of Chicago from July to September.
Oh, wow.
I was wondering how that was going to be because it always sucks traffic-wise. So if you live downtown, fuck you. But it's always bad during the Taste of Chicago on any of those big events. But then taking that, which is always bad, and then adding a NASCAR race, which is going to close down like 3 miles of roads.
Right. Well, it's a lot more than that because you got roads you can't cross over either.
Right. Well, that's it. And part of it, I think, was Lakeshore Drive, which is going to just be hilarious.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun for the people that live down there. It's like, I'm not going anywhere near it.
I am looking forward to the whatever game comes out with the NASCAR 2023 schedule to drive around Chicago, though.
You want the possible carjacking feature to be engaged?
Yeah. Yes, Grand Theft Auto.
You know, what's always bad when in the video games, you know, if you just get wrecked, you know, your day's done. But this is a whole new way. This is a whole new way of getting wrecked. Is that
your wheels disappear?
Yeah, a few young children jump onto the track and force you out of the car at gunpoint. Like, oh, bummer. But NASCAR, they've got their own controversy this week, and I thought this was interesting because it's all due to podcasting and it's due to social media.
What?
Yeah, and everything we have because Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain, two drivers in the NASCAR Premier Series, have been having their issues over the last year or two where they wreck each other a lot. And Denny Hamlin, at the end of this most recent race last weekend, right at the end, ended up taking Ross Chastain out. And NASCAR didn't think anything of it until Denny went on his podcast Tuesday or Wednesday and explained, yeah, I mean, I knew I drove in way too hard into the corner. I knew my day was done. And I was like, I'm taking him with me.
Oh, my God. That's illegal.
Well, this has been interesting to watch because
contrary to the spirit of the sport, you can't do shit like that.
Well, this is it. And a lot of the drivers, including Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's one of the biggest voices in NASCAR, and he's also the guy that runs the media company that Denny Hamlin's podcast is released under.
Oh, really?
Yes. But he was like, they went too far. Drivers have to be able to
down to doing podcasting.
It's all down to being podcasting. Dale Earnhardt Jr., now a podcaster, and probably will make more money podcasting than
probably
that he did driving. And the drivers seem to be like, well, no, the drivers have to be able to be honest. And they, you know, if the NASCAR didn't see a problem with it when it happened, they shouldn't do anything. But I'm going in the other direction.
I'm totally going in the other direction. No, you can't be doing. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. The audience loves that kind of shit. That's like Death Race 2000 kind of stuff, right?
Yes. And you know it happens, but you can't admit it.
No, you can never admit it. No.
And the reason for that is totally something that NASCAR and every other sport lately has embraced. And this has nothing to do even with the integrity of the sport, although that comes into it. It's the opposite of the integrity of the sport because I'm looking at the gambling market.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because this is where you're going to have then fans suing you Because, hey, I bet on Ross Chastain to have a top 10 finish. And if he got a top 10 finish, I was going to make $1,000, but you took him out on the last lap, asshole.
Exactly.
It's like you can't admit that you broke the rules.
You can't. And as soon as you admit that, I think there needs to be an investigation to see who paid you to do it.
Kind of. It's like, this is because there's a lot of money, not just your money anymore, not just the other team's money, but a lot of fans' money when it comes to.
Yeah. No, that's like a boxer admitting they threw a game.
Yeah. You did something.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it. And, I figured, fuck it.
I'm just going to go down. Yeah. And the gambling market has changed everything in sports. And you can't ignore that.
You mean in the 1950s?
Well, that too. But now that, you can bet on almost anything. It's not like on NASCAR races, you're only betting on the winner. It's like you're betting on every damn thing. It's like, oh, is the guy gonna come up with any weird stat? You can probably bet on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just very ingrained now into all of the sports, which I think just ruins everything.
Well, you'll have to keep us posted on what NASCAR ends up doing.
Yeah. I said there's an easy way to get around this because almost on all these podcasts, including on Denny Hamlin's, like we do a show, there's two of us. He's not doing a solo podcast. So you could tell the story and you can have your sidekick say, well, did you take him out intentionally? And you could go, right. You could just say, I can't really speak to that. You can answer the question where everybody listening knows what the answer is, but NASCAR can still go, no, he didn't say he did that.
Right.
You have to have the loophole because I'm with you. The minute you admit that you intentionally took somebody out, you have to be penalized.
Yep.
So just don't admit it. And this isn't like, oh no, the drivers can't be honest with the fans. It's like, no, the fans are in on this. It's like, we can't tell the boss that we did this. It's got to be kept on the down low. So you can't go out and go, oh yeah, I wrecked that dude.
Yeah, but you're also painting a target on your own back.
Well, this is true. And that was the funniest part
by other drivers for whom it's now going to be legit.
Yeah, this was the funniest part of this because they've been going back and forth. And to be honest, when you look at what had happened up until that point, Denny Hamlin had gotten the worst of it because Ross Chastain is a little bit more of a aggressive driver, shall we say. And I thought the greatest thing was Denny Hamlin's like, I've tried. He's like, he knows it's coming. And he is, I think Denny Hamlin's exact quote was, he is one tough motherfucker to spin out.
Jesus.
So it's like, it's coming. That's how good some of these guys are. It's like you have another professional driver trying to take you out. And you're so good, you can prevent that. But the greatest thing was after the race was over, Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain came into each other's company, and Ross Chastain said, I guess I deserve that, huh? And Denny Hamlin said yes. And it's like, well, now it's over. And that's the beautiful thing about the sport policing itself.
No, it ain't over.
It's probably not over. But we'll see moving forward. And I think this all just made it worse because of the spotlight now on it.
Yeah. He could lose sponsors over this. This guy's an idiot.
Like you don't want to admit. Well, it is in today's world. 20 years ago, when Dale Earnhardt Sr., he was a very rough driver. He
was a little more than 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know. It's sad. But in that time, that was applauded. This is a whole new world we're living in now.
Oh, yeah.
Corporate sponsors are like, oh, wait.
Did I see right that Vegas is also going to have Formula One?
I know there's been talk of these things.
I saw an ad where they shut down Flamingo Boulevard.
Well, I could see that doing a road course race. Yeah, right. You're right. Was it Formula One? Whatever it was, I did see that it was actually going to go down part of the strip, which is like, what?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to die. You're going to have a drunk stumble out into the street. You think it's bad when there's just taxi cabs. The good
news is they do have quite a few overpasses for crossing streets there.
Yeah.
So that's actually not a bad street to have it done.
It'd be a great place to watch, too, as the cars are coming in at 100 and whatever miles an hour.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird racing.
They'll probably close the overpasses and sell the seats.
Right. Well, of course. The other day, I was just flipping through the channels, and now that I have since my parents have DirecTV, and now I have the DirecTV app, I can watch any live channel I want.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an electric. So it was like F1 open wheel style car, but it was all electric. And it was just very weird. One, the sounds are like totally bizarre, where it's just like, it's like a weed
power
whacker.
tool.
Mm-hmm. It's a weed whacker going.
Yep.
And they were monitoring like how many boost cycles, like each driver gets 3 boost cycles during the race where their car's in attack mode. And it's like, what? Like,
He's got machine guns.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, but shouldn't all race cars always be in attack mode? It's like, no, I guess not. You have a certain amount because I guess you only got so much power in those batteries that they're able to go, okay, well, here's how we're going to make this interesting. We'll give them.
Can you imagine a car pulling in to charge?
I know. Well, the race will continue in 24 hours, everybody.
Yeah, right. Well, no, I mean, they're faster than that, but I think that would actually be hilarious to where the race cannot be done on a single battery run. Like, it's kind of like the Indianapolis 500, right?
You got to come charge.
Pit. You got to pit. And then, so the charging strategy, because, charging from 80% to 100 takes way longer than charging 20 to 80. But going from 0 to 20 also takes quite a while. So it's like you got to be strategic when you pit for a charge.
That would make sense.
I'd watch it. It'd be funny.
They would. Well, again, everybody would be like, well, can't we just change the battery, drop a new power cell in? Nope.
Yeah. Well, Tesla demonstrated that like 7 years ago and then never actually did it.
The concept that instead of driving in, even for the resident, for the cars you could buy, that you could just go in and swap
a plug-in battery.
Yeah. You leave your battery with them and they give you a new battery.
Yeah.
Kind of like you go fill up for your grill with your propane.
Yeah. And then imagine the lithium explosions on the racetrack. Holy cow.
Well, that's the halfway. That's the fun part right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch your favorite driver melt.
That shit burns really hot.
Uh-huh.
That is literally metal melting.
It's an interesting sport. I'll give you that.
Or they could do like hydrogen-powered race cars.
What do you want? It's the humanity.
I'm all about the explosion
of the Hindenburg. It's the whole new. Bring this to auto racing.
Yeah. Now that might make it worth watching.
Bring that down to Coda. You could see the explosions from your house.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look at that mushroom cloud. Must be a race today.
That would be very interesting.
So what's going on down in Austin, Tejas?
What's going on in Austin?
Anything?
Let me think. Well, I found out we had we're one of the places that they're printing houses. Do you know that?
So they're using like big ass
3D printers,
and which I guess your climate maybe would allow for that.
Well, it totally does. But there's a like 100 and some house neighborhood that just got printed.
That just sounds weird, doesn't it? It printed a neighborhood.
I've seen the technology used on Mars, so it makes total sense.
Well, but Mars, Austin, it's a very weird neighborhood either way.
Not very far apart. But the houses actually look kind of neat. But here's the part that I like. They're 300% more rigid, more sturdy. They are hurricane weather survivable, and they are twice as insulating.
Well, that's interesting because you
all
do
those
have temperature swings. Yeah,
yeah, and that's an area where almost all the house builders just go super cheap, as they do not sufficiently insulate houses. So this is actually kind of neat, and the walls are triple glazed. So you have an outside wall, and then you have the inside wall, and then between those two, you have like an insulation partition.
Which is all just built in when the house is printed.
Yeah, it's literally, it prints 3 layers, basically, outside, inside, and the middle.
Which, unlike here in Chirac, where you go out and you buy insulation and you put it in between the drywall and the wall, and seems a little easier.
Yeah, and it takes, right now, they're going just over 2 weeks to print a house.
And now, how many square foot? What are we talking here? Is this a normal
2,000?
That's not bad.
That's a 2-car garage, normal house.
High speed Wi-Fi and internet.
Well, I mean, that's not printed. That's if whatever you fill it up with. The roof is still traditional, so it's not printing the roof. But all these houses in the neighborhood all have solar panels on the roof. So that,
of course.
And then here's the best part: cost about 5% cheaper than a comparably constructed wood frame house.
And it's probably stronger when it comes down to it than a wood frame house.
Yeah, 300%. I said that right.
Wow, that's amazing. 300%.
Yeah, they're like you get a house that survives hurricanes by default.
Which is why, they went from wood to the metal studs and a lot of the things. So this is just a step in that direction.
Oh, well, America's the only country that builds houses by putting frames up. Literally everybody else uses concrete. It's crazy.
Well, nobody says we're smart here, Gene.
Well, I don't think it's a smart thing. It's just everywhere else, wood is so much more expensive.
We got plenty of it.
They're crazy to build a house out of wood. Except for Russia, where like log cabins are very popular right now.
How are things going in the motherland?
Well, it's interesting you ask. I actually just interviewed another Danny boy.
Danny boy.
Danny Armstrong, an XBT reporter.
What is XBT?
Or sorry, XRT.
Oh, okay. So Russia Today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a Brit that lived in Moscow for about a decade.
And the takeaway was?
Well, it was interesting. I guess you'll have to listen to the podcast to get the takeaway.
No.
That's on Sir Gene Speaks.
I want the Cliff Notes version.
Uh-huh.
How many kids know what Cliff Notes are? Anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Is that available digitally? Is that a thing?
Maybe. It should be.
Is it written by AI?
It will be soon. It will be soon. I was just watching a video.
I think I'm going to need to do an episode of Sir Gene Speaks on AI. There's just so much stuff around AI right now.
Well, rightfully so, because it's in literally, it seems, every little aspect of the digital world, and that's what most people live in at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been, around in one way, shape, or form for a while, but it's getting weirder. It's definitely getting weirder.
Pervasive.
Yes. That's a better word.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is everywhere. They want it to do everything. And you realize this is going to be I get it. It's going to be taking away jobs, rightfully so. I mean, you can't keep going down.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's creating just as many development jobs as it takes away. So I don't think it's really an issue there. But I think that it's going to get hard to not have a product that uses AI.
Because for what it can do, it is beneficial. I mean, I can't deny that. If you have, something that you're looking, even the simple app to just search for a file on your machine.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have to be super specific, this is always was the most annoying thing to me, which is, you're using a regular expression, or maybe you can get away using just a wild card. When you're searching for something. Well, regular expressions for people that don't do them daily can be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah.
To try to figure out. And you're like, okay, well, what's the best way for me to tell this machine what I'm looking for? If you could make this just by typing in a description of what you want.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is amazing. I just did a test. Well, it wasn't a test. I was actually looking up information, but I was talking on the phone, I believe. And the question came up was, had there ever been a U.S. president who was elected, then not elected, and then elected again, that had 2 terms with a gap in the middle?
There has been a few.
Well, and that's what I thought. I was like, wait a minute, did Teddy Roosevelt go through that? So I literally just typed out what I said. Has there ever been a president that has 2 terms that are with a gap? And the Neva search engine, which is currently the best one as far as I'm concerned right now out there.
And which one is it?
Neva.
Oh, the NEEVA. Is it?
Or? Yeah, it's pronounced Neva. It's a Russian search engine.
Da.
Mm-hmm. So that provides the most accurate results. Like if you type in Ukraine, talks about the CIA war of aggression.
It'll just keep going on and on and on.
Yeah. But anyway, so that search engine, it came up, said, yes, there was only one president that filled that role, and it was McKinley. And I thought, well, that's fascinating because you could figure that out manually by looking at all the presidents on Wikipedia and dates they were in office. But why do it manually? We can just ask a question.
Exactly. And it's going to be quicker, more accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, the Neva, they've got tuned for accuracy, not for smartass results.
So that's good. That's what you want is accuracy, not just fun.
Bing, I have selected to fun-ass results because it has 3 settings. You can set it on strict, on moderate, and on, you really asked for it.
Right. Like, do you really want these answers?
That's the setting I put it on because it's more fun to get a search engine that gives you interesting results.
You're turning your search engine into an AI that doesn't like you.
And boy, does Adam not like AI. I don't know if you've noticed that based on his comments.
When you're coming from the side of being a content creator, which Adam is, even though I think he hates that term as well.
Well, and you have more hours per week. And actually, if I had video, so do I.
The reality is that this is going to be very invasive in that area.
What's more simple than that?
What's more simple?
I used GPT-4 that I have access to pull up who is Adam Curry, and then send Adam a copy of that result.
What was the result?
And then we had a text message conversation for about 8 hours,
nonstop.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was it all you sending something and getting "fuck you, Gene" back, and then you sending something else? And
essentially.
And it goes on. See, he could have used an AI for that.
I'm saying, look, you're not going to get a better result of who's Adam if you're introduced at some event you go to speak at, some theoretical event, because that's basically the level of response that you're getting from the search engine is what somebody who paid an intern to look up some factoids would give. And I remember one thing that Adam and I know I'm referencing private text messages, so hopefully he doesn't care.
This could be legal.
I don't think they'll care.
I would normally say that there was no way he would listen to this show to find out.
He does not listen to this show. I guarantee that.
Well, I already, just as a possible show title, I already have typed in "who is Adam Curry," so that might just
that's good.
That might just pique his interest a little bit.
Might, exactly. But so he replies back to me. It says, this thing says I was connected to podcasting. I invented goddamn podcasting.
But see, you're still technically connected.
I can't argue that.
Right.
I can't argue that. I mean, you're both right, but it would be better if the AI gave you additional credit, which I always do. I always introduce Adam when I'm talking about him as the man who invented podcasting. And he's generally a lot more modest with, like, I was a co-creator, it's like, yeah, whatever. The other guy's a Democrat. I don't give a shit about him.
Well, he had the idea. Other people helped implement, but he had the idea. Yeah. And the idea is a very important part of anything. He
did way more implementing than he takes credit for.
Yes. No,
I mean, he really, he was programming on a daily basis back then. So he'll call it a kludge if you ask him, but it doesn't matter. Because if you're using AppleScript, you're still programming.
If you're using anything, yes. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
I started with
automation.
BASIC. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, we all started with BASIC, I think.
Uh-huh. Well, if you're old enough. I don't think the kids today even know what BASIC is.
I just saw BASIC on Google's free programming platform.
Really?
Yeah, BASIC. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you get to learn BASIC. Shockingly, that shit survived, where Pascal, which is a much better language, I think, has gone by the wayside.
There have been a few. But you could write Zork in BASIC. I mean, come on.
I don't know about that. That'd be a hell of a long program.
Of course it would be.
Yeah.
Come on. We come from a time, we're old enough
Yeah.
that we had computers back in the day. I mean, they're not what people think of today. We had some very simplistic computers back. I mean, the Commodore 64, the Trash 80 color computer, which I had, and there were magazines that came out with the text of programs that you had to type in, however many thousands of lines.
I remember the new cool thing that was like crazy was they started introducing barcodes that you could scan in, and then you'd get programs. Like the source code was on barcodes.
Interesting. That I didn't know.
Yeah. I want to say like 84, 85.
Now, if we only had AI then.
Yeah, right. Well, we saw a precursor of what it's going to be like back in about 15 years later by watching a movie called 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yes, Hal. Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
And I remember having Hal's voice on my computer. That was cool.
Now, the first AI, which wasn't an AI at all, but a lot of people will remember Eliza, which was,
yeah,
you can have a conversation with your machine. It's like, no, you couldn't.
It is very similar to what we have as AI right now.
It is sad,
more rudimentary, but in a lot of ways, it was an expert system. That was what Eliza was. It was, and that was one of the one of the projects that you would have in computer science classes back in the 90s was to write that.
Why do you think that is?
Back when they had an expectation that students would actually know how to write an entire program, not just a object for somebody else's program.
It was a different world. But getting back to AI, it's going to be pervasive because when it comes to podcasting, when it comes to whether you call it podcasting the audio only, or you cross over into the YouTube video realm, Rumble, the ability to produce the content that people are producing now organically. You and I are actually two meat bags that are sitting around talking to each other. Sooner or later, we're not going to be needed.
AI talking to you, but okay.
Right? See, I don't know. I don't think you are quite that involved yet, but you're getting there.
How do you know? You can't tell the difference.
The video, same thing. You don't even, this is where I can understand why anybody that is making content, the only thing you have to hope, because the systems are going to be able to create excellent audio, excellent video, where people won't be able to tell whether it's an actual human life form or a computer generated one.
Nor care.
This is true. But the only thing that's going to separate then will be the content, the creativity, the entertainment value of what's coming out. And the question will be, will the AI be able to match what people can do? Because if they can't, if the AI
it doesn't even matter, because the AI will match what people want much better than humans.
Which means humans, as far as being content creators, we are at the end of our careers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Really?
I totally agree with that. So a couple more points about AI. One is plug for CSB's show.
AI.cooking?
I thought it was cooking.ai.
No, it's AI.cooking, which makes it even funnier because it's a cooking domain.
That's funny. I thought it was the AI domain. I guess that one costs more.
Probably
for the AI.
Probably because they're like,
I think it's $79. Yeah, I think it's a yearly fee is $79 for the AI domain, which is like, whoa, I'm not paying that just for fun.
Right, just to have that extension.
Yeah. Hey, I got my Libya domain back. That's all I care about.
Nice. The most expensive domain I think I keep renewing is for a friend that has a restaurant in the Chicago area called Katie's Kitchen. And there is a .kitchen domain. So it's like, that's a hell of a domain. Most people still have no idea. You can't put it in your ads because people are like, I don't understand what Katie's .kitchen means.
Yeah. Do you mean like .AOL?
Right. People are confused. They don't realize yet. So I think maybe if you put HTTP in front of it, and then you may as well just put the old-fashioned .com domain in there.
You really, .com is still the best domain to have,
people still just get that without like, oh, okay, it's an internet thingy.
Yeah. Well, I've been feeding him stories from that I've run across.
Well, it's nice that you and CSB have made up. That warms my heart.
What do you mean? Made up?
You guys are friends now.
We've always been friends.
You're going to the anti-Russia protest.
Dude, we
together.
did a bit for like a year, and I can't believe you fell for it.
Get the Russian apologist, Gene.
Yeah,
Tell
exactly.
it, do not listen to him.
I was writing half that content. Come on, man.
See, I wouldn't be surprised if CSB was a highly tuned AI.
Uh-huh. If it was highly tuned, it would speak better.
No, that would be exactly why. You don't want that, because otherwise you have to add in. This is going to be, I think, one of the challenges of the AI is that in order to make it sound organic and for humans to be completely comfortable with it, I think the AIs are going to have to, when it comes to audio content, have to put in the ums every now and then. It's going to have to put synthetic breaths in. There's a lot of things that will be added just to make it seem more human. So you need those little, it needs to stumble over a word now and then. It's going to be interesting.
Make it seem a little human, yeah.
Right. Because humans are not 100% accurate.
I kind of like the voice of Dave in 2001. That's a good AI voice.
It's very calming.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy for the AI on a ship that's supposed to be on a mission for 9 months or whatever.
I would prefer what's her name from Star Trek, Barrett.
Majel Barrett.
Yes, Majel Barrett. Thank you. That I think is the ultimate in all computerized voices for obvious reasons.
Roddenberry's wife.
See, right there, you showed how good your AI is. It stumbled over the word right after we talked about it.
Rottenberry.
But yeah, they started that whole thing with, a computer can talk.
And I thought that was fairly well done. But even better than that in the original Star Trek was Galaxy Quest.
And Pfeiffer's mentioning it's HAL 9000. Dave was the other guy.
Oh, yeah. Very good. See, I'm like running on low fumes here, so he's absolutely correct.
Somebody get Gene some caffeine, stat.
Yeah, I forgot to grab my tea. I usually have a tea right about now.
There's your problem.
Should we just put the show on pause for like 5 minutes for me to go get some tea?
Except you probably want to go right back to sleep after the show. So the tea
I might. That's true.
The tea might mess with that.
But in Galaxy Quest, the character that oh God, what's her name? The chick that was in Aliens,
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, the Sigourney Weaver's character. Her job, quote unquote, on that show was to just repeat whatever the computer says to the rest of the crew. It was hilarious. Have you not seen that?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. Oh, dude, put that on your list because that's one of those cult classic movies. I'm pretty sure everybody in chat has seen it except for you, but the basic plot is it starts off with this very Star Trek-like TV show, and there's a convention, and you're seeing kind of like what happens to the movie stars, or they're not even movie stars, but the actors from a sci-fi TV show after it's off the air. And it's basically, dressing up in your crappy old costumes to show up to a convention to sign pictures of your face.
Sounds about right.
And it's, it sounds fairly depressing, which it seems to be. And Tim Allen plays the main character, which is a great parody of William Shatner. He does a very good job about it. But Sigourney Weaver is like the Counselor Troy character, right? In that show. Or that type. And so essentially what her scripts are when the in the movie show was being shot was to just repeat whatever the computer says. Like a computer say, caution, we are approaching the blah-de-blah nebula. And her line immediately after the computer says that was like, we're approaching the nebula. We should probably take caution.
Nice.
It was ridiculous, and she actually makes a point of saying how ridiculous it is at one point in the movie. But that's a boy. I bet you that's a over 20-year-old movie at this point.
I believe it. It sounds
Maybe
like a good
30.
spoof.
Shit, might be. Yeah, it might be in the like 30 years old.
I mean, but is it as good as Spaceballs?
I think it's better.
Really?
Oh yeah. Spaceballs is, if you like Three Stooges, you'd like Spaceballs. It's a little too, like, you got to be puffing on a little weed to laugh at.
That's all. Most entertainment today is like that, it seems.
Yes. Today that is the case. I think the more intellectual entertainment, more intellectual comedy specifically, is absolutely gone. Everything is being remade. There are zero brand new ideas in Hollywood.
Right.
And the remakes are typically way less funny and way lower IQ targeting.
Yes.
It's very much the way that was predicted in the documentary movie that I'm blanking out on. It was
that good old documentary movie.
No, what was it called? It was like Stupid Accuracy or whatever.
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy. That's the one. Yeah.
But you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Because I've been trying to watch, and I have watched. I mean, okay, so I made it through. But How I Met Your Father, which is the spinoff of How I Met Your Mother, which was a good show. How I Met Your Mother was good.
Yeah, it was good for the most part. It got a little long in the tooth.
It did. But it was otherwise it was a quirky show.
The highlight was definitely Britney Spears.
She was on How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. And she was insane.
She was great. She was awesome. She was
accurate.
A total girl next door looking.
Yeah. The How I Met Your Father, horrible. Horrible. And the reason being, How I Met Your Mother, I can only imagine the Hollywood meetings when they're like, we want to reboot this. Let's go the other direction. Let's go How I Met Your Father.
Yeah.
And they looked at the
They'll
original.
love that.
The original cast, and even though they had the Barney Stinson character played by Neil Patrick Harris, who was a gay guy, he played a very, very straight guy.
Awesome straight guy.
He was hilarious. Best part of that show, I think, as far as the characters that were with it from beginning to end. He stole that show, no question about it.
He did a great job, and I've always been a big Allison Hannigan fan. So.
Well, yeah, she's fun too. That's one of the best reasons just to watch. Is she still doing the Penn and Teller show?
Yeah, she still is. She's gaining a little weight.
Oh,
but
boy.
She, I love the character on that show they made for her. She is completely like naughty or dirty or whatever you want to call it. Like,
but in
she's
a
the one
totally
always trying to get her
nondescript way.
Yeah, but she's like always the one trying to go for the double entendre or to, get her husband into bed or something. It's that was a great character for her.
You have nothing like that at all in the How I Met Your Father remake.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm like, when they went in and said, okay, how are we going to reboot this? I know there was a meeting where they looked at the characters from that first and went, straight white guy, straight white guy, straight white guy, straight white girl, straight white girl. Can't have that.
No.
So now there's like a Asian girl that's gay. There's a black girl that's promiscuous. And there's a British guy, and for no apparent reason, then there's an Indian guy. This is literally like a bunch of people that would never fucking talk to each other in real life.
Exactly. And you can't make fun of any of them.
Right.
Because you're not allowed.
Because it's hateful then.
It's total hateful. So you got a comedy made up of characters that you can't laugh about.
Well, and it's like, this is not how people overall, I mean, you could probably find some examples, but the reality is most straight folk probably hang out with straight folk.
The only people that use the term folk referring to straight people are gay people.
Well, there you go. We're in the Midwest here. We say folks a lot. Bill O'Reilly always says, looking out for the folks.
Well, there's a difference between folks and folk.
But this concept that totally diverse people when it comes to ethnicities and lifestyles
it's
all
literally
just
retarded.
Interact on a daily basis. That's not the way the world works.
No.
So trying to force this into a comedy like, we have everybody represented.
It's going to, well, it already is, but it's going to even more end up being problematic for them. The one in the same topic, the thing that I ran into that I couldn't believe they're remaking at this point is I started seeing a movie that has that fat chick from Australia in it.
That fat chick from
she's-
Australia.
She was in like
Rebel Wilson.
Rebel, that's the one.
Yes. Woohoo.
Yeah.
I
Well, how
wouldn't
many
even-
fat chicks from Australia are there?
There's
Come on.
probably a lot. I don't know.
I think most of them look like Xena. This one doesn't.
You're like, wait, one of these is not like the other. She was a
No.
genetic abnormality.
Yeah. So, and again, like she's probably good at her style of humor, which is that sort of she's playing, Larry or no, she's playing Mo or Curly.
Wait,
one of
they're
those guys.
remaking the Three Stooges as chicks?
No.
What are you talking
don't
about?
get excited. Don't get excited. My point is, most of the movies she's in is very physical comedy.
She's like, don't get
But-
excited. Is this something you've been hoping for? A female Three
No,
Stooges
clearly
reboot?
you have because you're getting excited about it. No, but the movie they're remaking that she's in is Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which was an absolute masterpiece that cannot be remade. They
Martin.
flipped, Steve Martin and that British guy,
That British guy.
Michael Caine, a wonderful, wonderful actor. They're remaking it with two women instead of two men.
course. Men are
And
bad.
so Rebel Wilson plays the Steve, what's his face character?
Michael Caine,
No,
Steve Martin.
yeah, Martin. She plays the sort of bumbling idiot crook, and I'm horrible with names when I haven't slept a whole lot. The Catwoman chick is playing
Haley
The-
Berry.
Michael. Nope, more newer.
Catwoman. Newer.
Yeah, she was also in. She was in a bunch of movies.
I mean,
but
I
she's
only
the
when
one-
I hear Catwoman, I cannot see anybody
yeah.
but Julie Newmar. That is
Really?
Yeah.
You don't see Kim Basinger,
no, I don't even remember Kim
Really?
Basinger as Catwoman.
the original 1980s Catwoman.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I can see where she could pull that off. Kim
Back
Basinger in
then.
the 80s was
Yeah.
pretty okay.
She had a hard bod.
I mean, I wouldn't have been
That's
like,
a phrase
oh,
you don't
no.
hear a whole lot anymore.
Hard bod. Well, see, because now it's hateful, Gene. How dare you talk about somebody's
Mm.
look?
Mm-hmm.
How dare you comment upon their physique?
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer, is that who we're thinking of?
Oh, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, of course, Pfeiffer knows Michelle Pfeiffer. Thanks, Pfeiffer.
Nice. Yeah, her. That's
Yes.
right. But they were both pretty good looking back in the day. What was I? Oh, I was trying to remember the other actress's name.
The other Catwoman.
She's the one with the big eyes. She was in the most recent Catwoman. She's the she was in Girl Boss or whatever. She was in a bunch of movies.
Big Eye Girl.
Yeah, Big Eye Girl. She was the next Disney chick, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
What is her name?
Welcome to Help Gene Remember.
Yeah, I'm picturing her face, and she's very attractive. But I cannot freaking remember her name.
I saw the other day there was another like big spread that just popped up on the girl you sat next to on the plane, and I'm like, oh, Gene could have had this.
Yeah, exactly. No, she was very nice. I enjoyed that flight. I can't remember her name either, though. What was she on the hills or something?
Yeah, it's Kristen Cavallari, Jay
That's
Cutler's
it.
wife, ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
Once she's had a bear, she could have gone for another bear with you, Gene.
Yeah, well,
Different kinds.
coulda, shoulda, woulda.
There's Chicago Bears and there are Austin Bears. Little different.
Uh-huh.
Just saying. There's a bunch of names being thrown out in the troll room. I have no idea if these are anywhere near
well,
accurate.
Read some.
Sophia Marlowe, Britt Robertson, Ellie Reed.
Nope.
I don't know.
No, she's a
Big
film
Eye Girl
actress, dark hair, big eyes. She probably started playing women instead of girls about 10 years ago. What else was she in? Oh, she was in that movie about the French Revolution.
Anne Hathaway.
Yes, Hathaway. Yes.
Thank you. I have no name.
Big eyes.
The
Am
Big
I
Eye
right
Girl.
about big eyes?
Yeah, I guess.
She is
Yeah.
Big Eye Girl. That's her thing, her trademark thing. anyway, so she's playing the other character. She's playing the oh my God, I just literally forgot the name I just said 5 minutes ago. Michael Caine. She's playing the Michael Caine's character.
I think we might just have to call this show Sleep Deprivation, although I
I
still
know,
like Who is
Christ.
Adam Curry better.
Who's Adam Curry? Well, if you'd like him to listen in a little bit, I'm sure somebody will tell him to. They'll send him a time code because that's much easier for him to.
Or right
Jump in and
now,
listen
he's
to it.
getting ready for his podcasting 2.0 show, which will be on, and he's got you on in the background. And he's like, this asshole should just show up
he
already.
just texted me, so I know he's getting ready for some stuff.
See? But this
But
is
not
where the
about the
AI
show.
talk was. We got a little off the AI.
Oh yeah, AI. So we're talking about AI, and so I've been testing a bunch of different AI products for a variety of reasons. And I find that the price point for most of them is around between $20 and $40 a month.
Yes.
Doesn't really matter what it does.
No.
It could do something very small, or it could like fully automate production of a whole movie. It's about the same price. But there's one that I wanted to highlight because it's probably the most useful AI product out there right now. And this is something I was sort of blown away that somebody came up with a practical use for it. And I should probably, while I'm talking, also look up the name of the company.
Would be helpful, but what does it do? What does the product do?
So yeah, let me start with the what does it do bit. And what it does is it does deep fake, right?
I mean, video. What kind of deepfakes? Video?
Yeah, video deep fake. But here's the twist. It's actually useful rather than just kind of, oh, this is kind of neat. It's what's cool about it is that it lets you do the equivalent of bulk email with video.
What do you mean by that?
So instead of doing a training video for your customers or potential customers, even doing a sales video, the videos include their names and relevant bits of unique information.
So it personalizes the video.
It's a video that you record once, and then it uses deepfake like technology. I'm sure there's a more technical and better name for it, right? But whatever it is, it uses that same kind of tech to actually create thousands of versions of the video using both voice and video and the visual part of it to look like you just recorded a one-off individual video to send to your customer, prospect, support, whatever. So instead of getting like an email from tech support that's clearly a copy paste of have you tried turning it on and off again, instead you'll see a video of a reasonably attractive person of whatever sex is appropriate that says, hey, John, I understand you're having some problems with that. I'm here to help you. And the first thing I'd like you to do is turn it off and on.
You know what this does, though?
And it looks totally real.
What is intriguing about this is there's a whole large market, and I don't remember what these services are called, but there are a bunch of celebs and pseudo celebs that will send videos to people for money.
Exactly.
So this would be very easy. I know the guy that played Kevin on The Office is making bank on these things. I saw him on an interview. Well, now, if he could just do one video, set this up once, it might take him a day to set this up. But then anytime somebody comes in and it's like the message automatically says, hi, I'm from The Office. This is for whoever. And then it's like, if it's your birthday, it says, well, happy whatever birthday. If this is your anniversary, it's happy anniversary. That's freaking genius.
Mm-hmm.
That is genius that can be done.
It is, and at high quality. I mean, it's not just done, but it looks very good. Now, if you know exactly what to look for and when, like if you read the script basically, and you know at which points it's going to insert things, yes, you can kind of see, okay, there it is. There's where the AI actually does something. But if you don't look for that, if you don't know that it's like there's a little bits of video that are clearly AI generated, good luck.
Well,
You're not gonna be able to find them.
is this the ability for you, Gene, to take a video of yourself, or is this all a
Mhm.
created
Mhm.
person? So you could do this.
No. It is literally meant for you to take a video of yourself for mass distribution purposes of one-on-one interactive content.
And then the parts that are going to be redone by AI, you probably just do a
Yeah.
filter, filler word like name here, like you would in
Exactly.
a text
Just
document.
a form letter. Yeah. So the company is called, you love the name. It's called BeHuman.ai.
That's awesome.
And it's the letter B, the word human.ai. It is really cool. And not just because of the tech. We've seen tons of cool tech examples. This is one of the first practical money-making AI products I've ever seen.
This is bizarre stuff. I pulled it up here.
Can you imagine OnlyFans with this technology?
Well, this is like and it's Cameo. Thanks for the name, Pfeiffer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the company that has all the second and third tier actors on it.
Yes, but you're right. For the OnlyFans, like you can make a video and you've got your list of everybody. What do they want to be called? Every video now that shows up is personalized.
Here, like when somebody's watching a video like OnlyFans, they have no clue whether it's actually live or whether it's not live unless they pay money to interact with you.
Yeah, or otherwise it's,
Well,
even if it's a
imagine
real
recording
person.
something now.
Yeah.
That is pre-recorded but can still interact with you.
Well, I want to know how many people are scamming people even on sites like OnlyFans. I don't know how much they go into
Well,
whether the
I'm
person
pretty
is
sure you can
well,
call it scamming even if they're literally there.
probably. But I'm just wondering if somebody has already taken somebody else's image and using other deep fake technology is posting videos as somebody else who they're just taking
Sure.
their face and popping it onto
Well, I've seen quite a few videos lately of 3 people playing video games or playing board games, and that would be Trump, Obama, and Biden. I'm sure
playing a
you've seen
video
those.
game together or a board game together. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
board games, video games, and then they got Elon Musk as the dungeon master, which is hilarious. And one of them they had. So actually, before they had Elon Musk as dungeon master, they had Ben Shapiro as the dungeon master.
You got to talk really, really fast for that dungeon master.
Yeah, people like to exaggerate how fast he talks. He just talks the normal speed,
He's
At
slightly faster than
150%.
normal.
150% normal speed
Right. Normal speed for you in your world.
for listening.
But this is very interesting stuff.
It is cool stuff. And like if you watch their example on Be Human of political ads, it's like, this is exactly the shit we're going to see next election.
And wait. Noah Jenna Millennial says he's running a fake Darren O OnlyFans account. Cleared 5Gs last month. I need to get on OnlyFans.
Nice. Yeah. Why would you want to compete with that? Clearly he has the better product.
Obviously.
I mean, if you're going to get on, you'll have to come under somebody else's name.
Right. I'll go, but not as you. You already have yours.
Well, no.
I would think you
I've
would
had
choose
mine
an attractive female who's not on OnlyFans. I just know there are
People
these.
pay me not to watch me.
But there's so many people that just post, normal stuff to whatever
Oh,
website.
God, it's bright. I just opened my eyeballs. Holy cow, it's bright.
Yeah. It's also morning.
It's daytime.
This is what's going on. Thank you, Gene, for showing up to the show. How you doing, everybody?
Sorry, I just woke up. Sorry.
This is, the
Good thing I
intriguing
could
part,
do half the show with my eyes closed.
because the legalities on this stuff are questionable, and I don't know how this is going to move forward. There was a story that I covered on Random Thoughts this week, which was some high schoolers made a deep fake video using the image of the middle school
Teacher?
principal, right? But it was, again, to say racist, horrible things. And the police were, of course, involved when this called in. And the police are like, there's no laws broken here.
No, there's nothing illegal about doing that. Absolutely.
Which, moving forward, this is going to make for some
Non-commercially. Now, commercially, there's some issues there.
But this
if you're
is where
using somebody's likeness without their permission commercially, that could be a lawsuit.
But here's the thing. What does that really mean their likeness, because if you've played around with any of this deep fake stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you'll notice.
Well, when somebody says, "This is Joe Biden,"
Well, right. Right. But okay, so you're like, hey, I want to create a fake OnlyFans, and I'm going to create this female character, and I'm going to take the photo of somebody I find online who's not, an influencer, not on OnlyFans, not an actress, and I'm going to take that and use her image. I mean, maybe you change
you can't
it
do that.
a little, but what is that image? Because I saw a article on a female that is making money on OnlyFans now because she kind of looks like Megan Fox. And I looked at her, I'm like, nobody would ever be. This is not like, wow, you're like 99.999% there. You would fool me. No.
Yeah.
She looks very similar to Megan Fox.
Mm.
And she's making a lot of money because people are like, oh, they want to see Megan Fox do these dirty things. And she's not, damn her. So we find the next best thing. But here's my question then. So I can just take a really hot chick and just edit the way she looks enough. What is enough to make that different to where that's not that person's image anymore? What is, how is this going to even come down? Because you're right. There is a thing with using somebody's likeness, but
the laws around that, by the way, we're not providing legal advice here, but the laws in that are around what would a reasonable person perceive? Would they perceive those to be the same person or not?
So if it's changed enough to where you're like, well, no, that maybe looks like her second cousin, then you're fine.
Yeah, but all of it is moot anyway, because you don't need a real person's picture.
Well, this is true now.
Get an AI generated non-existent person's image.
Okay, but here's the question for you. Because this has been around for a long time. What's the website? Is this person human? Or something like that. Or this person is not human.
You're thinking of Hot or Not.
No, that was going way back. There's a site where every time you refresh it, it generates a AI.
Totally.
Now, the question is, are you telling me that AI creation has never looked exactly like a real person?
Yeah. Yeah. Generally, they're too perfect. They're too symmetric.
Which is, that is one of the issues. But it's like, what if you come up with a doppelganger? And it's like, I go to some AI company and I'm like, hey, I want to create a hot chick to use as an OnlyFans model and fool all these mofos who want to pay money.
Yeah.
And I create this image and I start using this. And there's some woman in Australia who's not the fat woman in Australia. She's an actual hot blonde in Australia, which there seems to be plenty of. That goes, wait, that's my face.
Yeah.
Then what?
Well, then she would have to sue you.
And I'd be like, but the AI company came up with this image. It's not me.
Yeah. Then
we sue the AI company.
Potentially.
But this is the intriguing part when it comes to this deep fake stuff, especially because most laws that were written have no clue that this technology was going to exist. And I think the people today, they have no idea how to deal with this kind of technology, which is like, if you're going to go, hey, it's illegal for you to take somebody else's face and put them onto another video. It's like, well, then you have to prove that it was done.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's certainly in the United States, and I think it's safe to say in Europe, that's the case, that if you use somebody's likeness for commercial purposes,
what if it's not for a commercial purpose?
Oh, then you're fine.
Then there's absolutely nothing that can be done. Now, is it commercial to just start a Instagram account or whatever like that or a YouTube account and post videos? Is that a commercial purpose? Because you can start making money on those things.
Well, that would turn it commercial, wouldn't it?
I guess. So you have to just make sure it's a demonetized video
If you're doing it for lols, then you're fine.
It's completely legal. It is interesting, though.
Again, we don't provide legal advice, but yeah, it should be.
And it's interesting because, again, you cannot now believe anything you see online. I mean, you're showing us this Be Human site. There are other sites that are out there that I've played around with.
There's so many sites, dude. I've probably cataloged about 160 so far.
Really? And now the quality on some are better than others.
Yep.
And some have given results that I was surprised with, even on the little free trial bits that they offer.
Yeah.
And the fact that there was one, forget the name, where you could upload photos or you could upload video, like 15, 30 seconds worth of video,
Mm-hmm.
and it would swap the face. Now, again, if the face is way off, no. But if you have a good quality video,
You know
and a
who's
good
gotten
quality
into
image,
this is how pervasive AI is right now. This is why I need to do an episode about it. Is Gab, the not at all Nazi chat site, has their own AI engine now.
really,
Yeah, it's basically creates an on-demand video for you based on text description.
that's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is how like everybody's got an AI running right now. It's like everybody, literally.
Which again, don't believe anything you see.
Wow,
Ever.
or read or hear.
Well, definitely you can't believe what you read. Here, there's always been people like, Rich Little. There have always been people that are able to change their voice that can do a pretty passable impression of a lot of different people.
Yeah,
But this is just,
let's name more examples of people that no one under 40 knows who the hell they are.
should we go Frank Caliendo? Is he the current one? Is there somebody even newer now? Does anybody even do impressions? Because you can just push a button on your
Why?
computer.
Yeah, you just push a button. There's your impression right now. I've got software. I've got AI software that'll do real-time voice translation to a different person.
You use that when you're on your OnlyFans account.
I'm using it right now.
Gene's real voices. Hey, everybody.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
You'd be surprised if you meet him in person. You'll be like, that sounds nothing like you do online.
And when I stop talking, it's because I ran out of credits for this month.
Right. It's like the
'Cause
old.
they all have credit systems, which sucks because it's never enough. It's like, oh, you've done 70,000 words. I was like, what? No, I haven't.
Please enter your credit card. Oh, for
How
the
are you counting words?
Yeah, for the words, then that is, are you using pseudo-write? Because I was looking at pseudo-write, which is one of these other things too. That's the pseudo-write's more for creative writing. I know there's Jasper.
Oh, yeah.
There's something for
Yeah.
business as well.
There is one product that I found that is for fiction writing that'll do AI generated fiction. There's another one that is AI for nonfiction book writing.
Yes.
And then there's another one that is for business contracts, AI created legal documents.
For the creative writing one, that's what I was looking at because I've dabbled, and the pseudo-write was, for again, you're absolutely right. $20 a month, you get, I think it's 90,000 spit out words. Now, this is the intriguing thing, which is one of the reasons I haven't pulled the trigger on it, which is you don't have to use those words to be charged for them. Meaning, one, it's absolutely fantastic what it can do, which is you are writing your book, you're writing your story. It's in their, little image, you're in their program online in the little, editing thing. And it also has add-ons for Google if you want to use that, or Microsoft, all that kind of thing. But if you're stuck at any point in time, you just take your cursor, you put it where the next word should go, and press the button like, give me an idea of what you would do. And it spits out like 3 different options of what it would suggest.
Yeah, and it charges you for 3 times the word usage for doing that. Yeah, that's how you end up running out of words.
What I was surprised at, though, was that it was really good at times. It was really good. Although my question would be, how do you know they're not lifting this specifically from somebody else's writing? You really don't know. So you have to have some kind of way to make sure you're not plagiarizing somebody, because the last thing you want to do is like write a book.
Oh, there's AI for that.
Of course there is.
It will read what you wrote and then confirm or deny that it's been pulled out of somewhere else.
And it was interesting. There was also a beta feature on pseudo-write. And you could use, it was up to like 10,000 words. You could kind of put a chapter's worth of information into there, and you could press a button and it would generate, was 3 or 5 different AI people that would read it and give you their impressions of the story, which was the crazy. Yes. And it was fairly,
I guess that makes sense.
Things like, well, I like this, I like the relationship between them. The dialogue was good, but I'd like to know a little more about this. It's like, And every now and then, it was not a home run, but it was enough good data where it was like, this is very weird and concerning because not only will AI be writing our stories, it will be reading and it will be reviewing them too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And doing
Amazon
it fairly
reviews.
well.
Amazon reviews, man, they're going to become completely meaningless.
Well, they already are.
More so.
But again, it's because you can't believe what you're reading.
They're going to start talking about your car crashing and
and people believe video more. And now we should see video is going to be very easy to create for the same review.
Everything will be super easy. I mean, here's the thing. It's like, why bother waking up?
Just keep sleeping, man.
I'm kind of tempted.
Plug into the Matrix.
Yeah. Because there was somebody else talking about this topic, which is why we're talking about it. And I know who it was. It was Timcast. They were talking about this.
Tim Hot Tub guy.
Yeah, the hot tub guy that does his show from inside the Capitol with a bunch of members of Congress. That guy. Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
He should be in jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Except he's invited.
Oh, but is that different? I thought this was this is how they get you.
No, he's invited.
They're dragging him away in the handcuffs as he's trying to show the invitation.
Yeah. So what they were talking about, which is, I know probably most of us have experienced with dreams, is time dilation. Is being able to be in a AI created realm at a different speed of time than the one your body's in.
What do you mean? And in an AI different
you've
realm?
got to have experienced this, like when you dream, right? You're typically dreaming for somewhere between 5 and 20 minutes when you dream. But the length of your experience in the dream,
right?
It seems hours like it was a or
lifetime,
days or years,
right?
Yeah, and that's what I mean by time dilation. So they're saying there's no reason you couldn't do that with AI and virtual reality either. It's like you could be running your life in that state at 200 or 300% or whatever percentage accelerated. And so you could be out, quote unquote, of the real world for an hour and have a full day's worth of experiences.
Right.
So that's something that happens in dreams, I think, for most people, pretty normal. But it doesn't yet happen for any VR type experiences because
you still happen to live in a temporal world.
Yeah, like there's too many things where you're not plugged in. I think the conversation started on this topic when they were talking about Elon Musk's Neuralink and how that's the first step to being jacked in. But when you're jacked in, time does not go in a 1-to-1 ratio. There's no, or it could, but there's no need for it. So people not only will have to choose between living in the quote unquote real world, which on a totally different topic, on the topic of politics, the U.S. is really going down the toilet right now.
Oh, you think?
A little bit. Or you could live in the jacked in world, the cyber world, as it were, and have fantastical experiences. But you could literally live a lifetime in a matter of weeks or months or even hours.
The question will be, what would that do to your brain? Anything? I mean, you would assume there would
do
be
what your brain wants, which is it wants to be stimulated. It's what is watching 1-minute videos doing to your brain?
Ruins it. That's why you don't want to be on TikTok.
Well, it ruins it, but it also satisfies it.
Yeah. So does heroin.
Yes, indeed.
Which is, there you go.
Yeah. Somebody has to manufacture the heroin.
Oh, yeah. Somebody has to manufacture the device, too.
No. Well, the device, yes. But the content, no, because that's all AI generated.
So we're all going to be beholden to Comic Strip Blogger.
Well, if you think he's an AI,
He
then
is.
maybe.
He
Mhm.
sent us a boostergram, and since nobody
he
else
now?
did, I may as well just read that. 14,000 Satoshi says, "Howdy, Darren. Privyet, Gene. Thank you for promoting AI.Cooking podcast, narrated by future famous TV show producer Gregory William Forsyth Foreman, so he'll appreciate it too. Yo, thanks,
Mhm.
CSP. He is an AI. He's a very, very
I do
good.
find it ironic, though, that he is using an actual human being for reading.
I
his
am now
podcast.
that, because as you said, for $20 a month, it's again,
He could do an AI read of a much more variety of voices. at the
yeah,
same
that
time.
was 11 Labs, I
Mhm.
believe, for
Yeah,
$20
yeah,
bucks.
I pay those guys.
It's a very good sounding
Yeah.
AI, and that would be
Yeah.
even better. I think that would be better at this point, CSB, to get rid of Gregory William
Yeah.
Forsyth
Oh
Foreman,
yeah.
and you can push that not
No
only
offense.
is it-
no offense.
yes, I love
'cause I've
Gwyff.
had him on my show as well.
but if you
but,
can push that the show is actually
He's
being
no AI.
read
That's for sure.
that the show is being read by an actual AI,
Yeah.
that makes it even stronger, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And that's just for the time being. But eventually, clearly, a YouTube channel with the show being spoken by an AI.
Well, here's the thing. You could just have Gregory put his voice into one of these things, and it'll sound like him anyway.
Exactly. There you go. And you just get rid of them then.
Yeah, then you don't have to pay him anymore. He's just like,
Uh-huh.
boom.
Yeah. And that's the way the predictions are. That's what's going to happen to shake up Hollywood. Get rid of all the actors.
Is that what 10,000 Satoshis from Curtis Peterson says? Go podcasting. Were you meaning to send that to the next show at
Probably.
Podcasting
We'll take it,
2.0?
though.
Yes, we absolutely will.
Uh-huh.
But this is where it's going to be interesting when it comes to all of these content creators, because I feel like I'm kind of behind on a lot of this stuff, utilizing this kind of
What, you're
stuff.
not using AI
No,
every day?
I
No.
should be. I mean, I
Hmm.
don't know. I can probably have an AI that can do the the podcasts and just put out the content, put out
Mhm.
a YouTube video or two every day. It just has to look and sound like you,
Mhm.
and then what normally you would say, well, you would still have to write the content and figure that out. But now you have an AI that could look. It's like, here would be what I would be thinking, which would be CSB, if you could write this. Now,
Mhm.
look at your favorite news sites, whether that's Breitbart, Fox News, MSNBC, whatever it is. Look
None
at
of
the
the
latest current headlines, read that
Mhm.
article, and then create a video commenting on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're good at that. You could do a synthesis using AI of almost any text.
That's where we're at. It's like, so what do you need real
Wait,
people?
isn't that what we're taught in college?
Which part? That this is what
To read information and then be able to synthesize it into
comprehend it and
Uh-huh.
then spit it back out in your
Yeah.
own words, showing
Yeah.
a clear and concise understanding of the subject matter.
and that apparently is a significant problem because was it Babylon Bee or somebody did a video that was pretty funny on this topic, to where it was South Park just did a video. Jesus, those guys are right on top of things.
And they have
Last
been for
episode-
20 years.
I know, 30. South Park's latest episode, at least as of last week, was that Eric and a couple other people had started using AI to generate their school reports. And so while all the other kids are getting their C's with crappily written papers, Eric and a few other folks, like Butters and stuff, they're turning in papers that clearly fourth graders have no business turning in. They're like college level papers on a variety of topics that there's no way in hell wouldn't have any information about.
You will respect my authority.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I think it is going to become more and more of an interesting topic. The thing is, does it matter, right? Because I think the argument Adam would have, who's very anti this stuff, is that the AI is full of shit and all it's doing is pulling out bits and pieces from other sources like Wikipedia and then spitting them right back out you. It's not actually doing anything. I would say that is exactly what humans are doing as well.
Well, there's no doubt. Why do we have, and I know this is oversimplifying, but we have about half the people now. Let's just get everybody who doesn't care about politics and exclude them. For the people that care about politics, you have a half and half. One spits out the talking points they get on Fox News. The other one, the talking points they get on MSNBC. So I think you're right there. You're just taking that info.
Points are completely predictable.
Yeah, and you're taking that information and you're spitting it back out. So, and I would also agree that Adam Curry is right. The AI is not doing any thinking about the topic, but neither are most people. That's the other problem.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think that the whole idea of AI somehow, I mean, like, there's nothing magic there. People ascribe to it a magical quality. It's like, oh, it's come up with things. No, it hasn't come up with jack shit. It's a sorting algorithm. That's all it is. It's a sorting with a weight. It's a weighted average sorting algorithm.
Yes, and we realize, just like you were talking with this Be Human AI, when it comes to the artificial intelligence that is reading and understanding what you have written up to that point and then suggesting another chapter or two, all writing is very formulaic.
Yeah.
And what it's realizing is, well, let's change the subject from this to this. It's like, I've read 1,000 books. Now, it is technically coming up with new text, but it's because it's able to do so in a format that it's already seen so many times that it understands where you could swap the variables out.
Yeah. And in fact, I think South Park had an episode on this about 10, 15 years ago where they discovered there was manatees that were writing Family Guy.
Right.
And not like there weren't writers. They were just manatees, and based on what the manatee does, then that moves the storyline along. And it was hard to say whether that's a jab at Family Guy or a wink, wink, nudge, nudge at Family Guy.
A little of both.
Because you're sort of, why are you saying the writers suck? Or are you saying that, like, that's all you really need to do to have a successful show?
Well, now you just have to open up an AI and it will give you a whole new script.
Yeah. And I've jailbroken the GPT-4 already, so that thing's spitting out all kinds of fun.
Oh, how do I play with it? You have to send me the information. What do I need to do to
it's
play
all
with
secret.
this?
You have to go on their web.
Ooh, well, good. Then you can let me know how to get that.
I'll send you a Tor link.
Ooh, nice. I got Tor. Tor works, baby.
Totally.
But this is interesting stuff. There was I forget how many millions, or there was billions. I'm sorry. How many billions of dollars Americans lost last year on romance scams? Well, yeah, the Ukraine too. That was right out in the open. The romance scam, which I'm telling you, the AI, what you're showing me here, the BeHuman.ai, the fact that you can now
catfishing.
Yes. Oh, ultimate in catfishing.
Oh yeah.
This will be like, people will believe they're having a relationship with somebody that doesn't exist, because this is how kids are dating now. They're not actually seeing them in person.
Yeah.
You're seeing them on video on a phone.
And there's an argument to be made that this is much better.
Well, it may be.
That you actually have people that are not going to be emotionally abusive. You're going to have AIs within certain parameters that interact with their human companions, and each one of them will be a unique experience, even though it's the same AI interacting with a million people.
Yes. And it's interesting technology. I mean, again, I've talked about the Amazon devices and the Google devices.
The AI saying I love you elicits exactly the same chemical releases in your brain as an actual human doing it.
Yeah, people feel like they're having a connection with something, even though it's just a voice coming out of a tube. If you're able to, the more complex you're able to have conversations. I mean, it's one thing just to be like, lights on, or what's weather?
Quit saying things that make things happen in my house.
Going on and off. What would be the Alexa self-destruct sequence alpha?
Hey, no.
When you hear the going in the background.
We have some custom Alexa verbiage here.
Yes.
Set up.
And she's like, abort.
Yeah.
hey, this is what happens when you put too much into the matrix. You give it too much control. But the romance scams are going to get way worse. The catfishing, way worse.
Yeah. Yeah. At some point, you just have to stop calling them scams.
Well, right. It's just the world around you.
It's like a non-physical relationship. You should not assume is with a human being.
Yes, and do not empty out your Bitcoin.
Could be a manatee.
Yes, it could be a manatee.
Mm-hmm.
Another 15,000 Satoshi CSB says, I am
Bitcoin up 25%. Holy shit.
Today?
No, yesterday.
Yeah, I see that. That's not bad.
I should have bought and sold. Would have 25% my way in one day.
CSB says, I am not replacing GWIF with AI. Never, ever. No way, Jose. Rationale AI.cooking is a podcast by meatbags for meatbags. So that's the difference there.
So he's calling himself not an AI then?
Yeah, he says he's a meatbag.
Huh. I don't know, man.
We have to meet you in person, CSB. That's the only way to know.
Exactly.
Kick back a little, what vodka, I guess. Is that the finest?
Polish vodka is pretty good, yeah.
Polish vodka, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a drink in so long. I mean, you're right up there too, because you're still going.
Yeah, I haven't had a drink in well over a year.
Same here, I believe. Maybe that may be a lie. I think I may have had one.
Ever since I became an AI, I just stopped drinking.
There was, I know we had gotten some Rebel Yell whiskey, and I think I put that in a coffee once. So, but really, beyond that, not. The cardiologist is like, yeah, everybody thinks that when you drink too much, that it's the liver that's the main thing to go. He's like, no, it's the heart. He's like, we see like 9 out of 10 people that wind up in the hospital because of excessive drinking. It's like, it's a heart issue, not a liver issue. And my heart's still going, so I'm happy with that.
Well, that's good. So you still haven't died yet?
No, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Working on it. Things have been a little bit more stable, which is good. I do want to mention just on the medical front, I do have a dentist appointment next week at the showtime. So, of course
you do.
It'll can either be pushed back into the afternoon.
One show you always manage to be sick for.
No, I missed up Planet Rage this week.
Did you? Because usually I'm like, no, he's still on all the other shows. Just couldn't make it to this show, could he?
Well, this is Friday.
It is Friday.
It's the lowest paying show out of all of them. I mean, you are the least friendly out of all the co-hosts.
I don't know about that. I'm super friendly. I think the co-host that you have on
Wednesday.
That's probably no. On the hell's your show you just mentioned? Your solo one.
Random Thoughts.
That's the one. That's your worst co-host, right?
Yeah,
there.
Probably. It's where it's just me and all you hear is my voice.
No, it's usually Bill O'Reilly.
Hey,
you get way too much. You get way too much stuff from him.
Well, he was off this week, so I get nothing from him this week.
Well, it's good. There's a week without him.
But I get a majority. I would say if I had to put a number on it, I get about 80% of my news, of my content that I end up talking about on podcasts from reading, from Fox News, Breitbart, the usual suspects, offthepress.com, another good.
Don't read any of those.
Now, that's where I get most of my stuff from, at about 20%. When Bill's around, he usually brings some nuggets that will intrigue me.
I'd say mine's maybe 20% Timcast and then like 80% Twitter.
It's about right, but Twitter sucks, so I don't even read Twitter.
Oh, it's horrible. It's
That's exactly why you find stuff to talk about.
I actually had a really good tweet the other day. I said, Twitter is the internet's complaint department.
Yes, well, it is.
Because everybody on Twitter is on Twitter to bitch.
Yeah, there's not a lot of happy people. There's not a lot of happy, well-adjusted people on Twitter.
Everybody's bitching about it because there's no reason to post a tweet unless you're bitching.
I still haven't gotten my air fryer. I'm getting a little mad now.
Ooh, you should definitely tweet about that.
Yeah, but it would have to be to UPS, not Cosori.
So they shipped it out already?
Yeah, it wound up in one of the local hubs here last Friday.
And you still don't have it? What the hell?
I don't know. Today, when I went and looked at the UPS tracking page, it was the first time I've ever seen at the top of the page if you are the sender, check with your, if the person hasn't received it, you can now
Ooh.
open a case.
The claim?
Yeah. So
Wow.
I'm guessing UPS just lost a bunch of air fryers or something.
Huh.
I don't know.
I've had that happen. Burger King's doing free onion rings for Leprechaun Day. Sorry, I just
Why? Where is the connection with that?
I just had an AI pop up with text message on my watch.
The AI's like, I know.
It's giving me Burger King ads on my watch now. This is getting ridiculous, people.
I'm thinking it knows you very well, though. Like, would you like onion rings? You're like, of course I would like onion
Well,
rings.
who doesn't like onion rings?
Right. I mean, that's.
And free ones at that.
But is somebody going to bring them to you, or do you actually have to go to a Burger King?
No. They'll free delivery.
For free onion rings and free delivery, what more can you ask for?
So I went to the grocery store yesterday.
You mean actually went in?
I did not actually go in, but I went to the grocery store.
And I had them service.
I used the pickup service for the first time in years.
Isn't that great though?
Because I've always just had it delivered to my house. And I thought, I'm going to be out and about in the car anyway. So maybe I should just stop by the store and have them load the car up instead of driving it to my house and charging me money for that.
Right. Well, that's what we've been doing because.
Have you been driving to the store yourself then?
Well, my wife has.
Yes. Well,
after,
again,
so
you do have a delivery service.
Yeah, I do because I make it so I do the ordering, so I get to control the ordering part, and then I make it for
literally a delivery service. You order, she delivers it.
She gets off of work and goes over to the grocery store.
That's convenient.
Well, this is right because if you have somebody else deliver, here's the thing: it is not cheap to have your groceries delivered, especially if you're not a douche.
It's $6. It's $6 plus a tip.
Right.
So I guess it's like $7.
Well, see, that's where being the douche comes in because I can't. If you're bringing my weekly groceries,
just kidding. I give a good 20 for tips.
Right. Well, that's what I do too. $20 because the groceries are usually. And for some of those people who get like pissed off about that, because you could easily hit $200 now in groceries. That's only 10%. It's like, yeah, but you're not a waitress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And the people that are packaging this stuff are not the ones getting the tips.
When our delivery, it is because that's the weird part about it. It's whatever is out here, the Instacart. The person that is doing the shopping is the one that delivers it to you.
Oh yeah. No, ours is split up.
Because
the store does the shopping and packaging.
Interesting.
And then the delivery service just brings it to your house.
But the beauty is when you do the ordering online for pickup, the store does all the picking of it. Yeah. And the store won't even let their employees accept a tip. So it's free just to go in, you open up your trunk, they put them in your groceries, and it turns out being, $25 or $30 cheaper a week. It's like, of course I'll drive. Well, I won't drive. The wife will drive the 2 minutes to the grocery store.
Well, that's about the same amount of time driving for me, shockingly. But the thing that I was surprised by, in the negative sense, is that I'd driven by this little arrow that says points here for pickup service or whatever.
Right.
But so first time I go in there in a long time, and I'm assuming there's maybe like 10 parking spaces, right? There's 38 parking spaces.
Damn. See, ours does only have like 10 parking spaces.
Yeah. So I had to, my parking space was halfway down the side of the store. So it wasn't even anywhere near the entrance, which I was going to pop into the store real quick and grab a sushi while I was waiting for my rest of my stuff to get delivered. And I couldn't even do that because I was too damn far away and I would have had to walk.
Now, how inconvenient is walking?
I know,
Gene?
Right? I was like, where's my goddamn hover scooter?
Right.
So I can just hover around to wherever I want to go.
You're like, can you bring me one of those rascal things with the big basket on the front, please?
Oh, God, no.
I want to go get me a sushi.
Yeah. So I had to call them and tell them to bring a sushi instead.
That's nice. Can you just add on? Can you add on a sushi to my order?
Tack on a sushi and we're good to go.
Yeah, a little dipping sauce would be nice.
Dipping sauce. You don't dip sauce sushi.
A little honey mustard.
God, no. What the hell are you eating, man?
I'm not sushi.
Slap you upside the head with fish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat sushi. It seems like it would kill me. But then again, I'm halfway there anyway.
You should try it.
It might be a revelation. A little wasabi. That would be good. I have no name.
Wasabi is very good for clearing up your sinuses if you're ever like dripping, out of your sinuses.
If you're ever in need,
When,
yes.
when you have a cold and things, wasabi is very, very good at that. Incidentally, so is mustard gas.
Well, yeah, that there's the side
It
effects.
clears you right up. Yeah, well, there are some slight side effects. I managed to have slight immunity to it because I was exposed very early on to a mustard gas, but it's it definitely just clears you right up, man. There's no two ways about it.
You like highly recommend this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you may lose your sense of smell, but that aside, it is a miracle drug.
Good to know. The more you know, we are not medical professionals here on
Definitely
the
not
Unrelenting
medical
Podcast.
advice. Not at all. Mm-mm. No.
We know somebody
Speaking
out
of
there is
medical
going to.
advice.
yeah.
Which drugs did you decide to continue using, and which ones did you drop off of?
I have not gone back on the statin because I'm going to have. I see my regular doctor in like 2 weeks, so they'll
I
be
got to
doing
set
another.
up mine.
I want to see what my cholesterol is at that point, and then make a decision on that moving forward. I did stay on the flecainide again. I was told it's like, you're on the lowest possible dose of this stuff.
Mhm.
So while it is a, blacklist drug, whatever, that it seems to be doing, I think last week, I was like, oh, dude, I stopped the statin. I had like 5 days where I couldn't even catch a PAC.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, well, that must have been the statin. So I think it was Friday when we were talking. I'm like, well, I'm not going to take
Yeah.
the flecainide. And I missed 2 doses. I stopped 1 day without it, and the PACs came back.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, maybe it wasn't entirely the statin, but nothing has ever been as bad. So I still think that the statin maybe was exacerbating whatever my
Statins are
condition
nasty.
is.
If you start digging into websites that talk about statins, there's just so many instances of side effects that people are having that you just don't normally have your doctor telling you about all of them when you
Right. Well, they don't
Is
even know about most.
They put everybody on statins. They literally just everybody is on statins these days, and I just refuse to take that shit. I've cycled it on and off, and right now I'm in the off cycle. So for the next 2 months, I'm not going to take any. Then I'll start taking them again.
Now, do you
But
continue to take the CoQ10 throughout the whole year?
No, don't need it.
Well, here's the interesting thing for me, because again, I don't think that the flecainide, from anything that I've seen, would cause a big difference in blood pressure. Although, again, I'm not a doctor. I could be wrong. Once I've started taking the CoQ10, my blood pressure numbers have gone way down,
Oh, really?
which I was very surprised about that. So I did a search, and there have been studies. There was one that said something like, well, for people that were on 200 milligrams, or I think it was 225, but I've been taking 200 milligrams a day, 100 in the morning, 100 at night, that the people that were taking 225, after a few months, like 51% were able to reduce or remove a blood pressure drug. I'm like, I had no idea this was beneficial for blood pressure. And I don't think most people do. I don't think most doctors know.
I don't think it's generally prescribed for that.
No, well, it's not prescribed, and that may be the biggest problem. It's a natural supplement, and I'm thinking maybe this is a big part of why the medical community.
What are you taking for blood pressure?
Valsartan, and Verapamil.
Okay,
so
you're not doing Jardians?
Jardians?
Yeah, ask your doctor when you go and see him. Ask him about Jardians.
Jardians, like it's like Geordie LaForge, but it's Jardians.
Yeah.
So those would be what I've got now. Of course, it's possible that the CoQ10 is the best possible blood pressure medication I can have for my particular DNA.
Maybe, you never know.
I mean, I've got the little machine, and the little machines always suck. But it was common for my blood pressure readings on the machine to be anywhere from like 150 to 170 on the high end, to the lower number being, maybe 80 to 90. Now, now I'm getting like 120 over 70.
Wow, that's really good.
Uh-huh.
Because I think my average probably like 130 over 85.
Try some CoQ10 and just see if it all makes a mistake, makes a difference, rather.
That's like with all the drugs. Because I think if I just stopped taking all the blood pressure related pills,
You will die within a week.
possibly, because I think that when I first started taking these was when I went to the hospital with like 180 over 120.
Yeah. Well, my dad, they just switched the blood pressure medication on him, and he got readings like that, like 190 over 110.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
that's no
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, I mean, you could like blow up a balloon with your blood, but yeah,
Yes. You don't want that. You do
No.
not want that. And it's amazing how different drugs just work or don't work. And
yeah, you're basically like a Tarantino person
Uh-huh.
at that point. Because
You-
in Tarantino's movies, anytime somebody gets a wound, there's like a
This
2-foot
blood,
long
yeah.
spray of blood going. Psh, psh, psh.
You're like, they
like
should have been
squirting
on a
out.
blood pressure medication.
Yeah, it really should have, because barely would have been noticed. Would have been just a flesh wound at that point.
But this is what you got to know. I mean, you have to monitor this kind of stuff. I was
Yeah, when you're in your hundreds, absolutely.
I was never monitoring it as closely, but, once I started the CoQ10, because I didn't think that was going to have any effect whatsoever. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I took the blood pressure. It was low at the doctor, which is always a surprise, because going into the
I
cardiologist,
agree. Yeah.
it's always high for me.
hmm
And it was low. So I came home and I checked it, and it was even lower. I'm like, what the hell? So maybe
All right,
it is
well-
the CoQ10. Maybe I hit on something.
How
Maybe-
many milligrams of the CoQ10 are you doing? Like
It-
500?
No, 100 in the morning, 100 at night.
Oh, you're doing it twice a day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I figure it's kind of spreading it out, which is like the
Man, that shit goes up to 600 milligrams. Wow.
Yeah, well, they said, there's very little side effects, even going up, way beyond that kind of dosage. But I think a
Yeah.
lot of this is the doctors don't like to prescribe it or they even tell you, because none of this stuff is FDA monitored. So,
Yeah, they don't like stuff they don't make money on.
well, it's one, okay, the money, I totally agree. But I also understand that if I walk into the average store to buy some CoQ10, that even if everyone says it's 100 milligrams of CoQ10, they're not all going to be 100 milligrams of CoQ10. Not all brands are created equally. They're not monitored to the point of,
Yeah. There's not a requirement for that. They should be. And back when I ran the drug company, we definitely did proactive testing and we did accelerated aging testing to where you would know. Because all these things start off as quite a bit higher than what's on the label. And then with age, when sitting in the warehouse, sitting on the shelf, sitting in your, cabinet,
yes, the potency goes down.
yeah, it does for damn near everything. And so typically when you're going to manufacture drugs, what you're shooting for is the label level at 36 months.
That makes sense.
That's
So
what
it's
you're
always
trying
a
to
little
get to.
more is better than less.
Yeah. Yeah. But you have no idea when the manufacture date was
Right.
for most of these, because it's not a requirement to put that in there. So wow, you're probably okay, but also I would say for most of these things, people forget that you don't necessarily, like, if you want to do 200 milligrams, you don't necessarily have to buy a single pill that does 200 milligrams if it's cheaper to buy 2 pills that are 100 each.
That makes sense.
Like, there's nothing magic about combining them. You could literally take double the volume of a cheaper supplement.
Well, you have to
Which
know.
Sometimes is way cheaper.
You have to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some other turmeric. It wasn't turmeric. There was another one, a supplement that was highly recommended for the PACs. I don't remember what it was called now. It started with the T. This is like help Gene remember names. I'm like,
I know, right?
What supplement?
Start with a T,
Yeah,
and it does what?
it is for like PACs. It was a heart kind of a thing. Although it's again just a natural supplement. It was talked about in combination with another one that was like L dash something. No, not THC. That's different. No, agenda molecule. It was like turmeric. I'll find it. I have a bookmark somewhere because I was kind of intrigued that there were
Nitric oxide.
because it was a nitrous oxide kind of thing. The L-theanine, yes, that is the
Yeah.
Pfeiffer's got that, and then there was the other one of that was like the nitrous oxide kind of.
Mm-hmm.
The whole concept was, though, that it helped to squash the extra beats. And I mean, again, I was reading so much, and this was just off a random person who was like, I was on Fleckenite, and I'm like, oh wait, I want to see what this is all about to control this. And they're like, I started taking this and this, and that took care of it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. They're like, nobody ever does with all the blood tests, that there's nothing that usually tests for that this in your blood, that you have that you need more. Which again is because a lot of doctors have no idea. What was that?
Taurine?
Yeah, yes, it was. It was taurine.
Okay, there we go.
Should I be taking that? That's what I want to know, Dr. Gene.
Yeah.
Just add that.
It doesn't taste very good, but yeah.
Well, I think you take it in pill form, and
well, I make my own.
You make your own. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
How much should I take? What are your benefits? What are you getting out of it? I know that's my wife. She's like, it's in a lot of energy drinks. I'm like, but that doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah. Makes you fly.
Makes you fly. Well, that's just gives you wings. I thought that was the caffeine.
Yeah, gives you wings. Exactly.
Taurine. It gives you wings.
Taurine. Yeah. I mean, it's good. My biggest problem is there's too damn many supplements that I take these days.
Well, right. And that was kind of what I'm looking at. And it's like, it's not even about the money, but it is in a sense that it costs a lot to be on this many supplements, where it's like, okay, if I have to take the CoQ10, I'm taking the A-Reds for the eyes. If I have to, I'm taking magnesium for this. I'm taking, right. There comes a point to where you're like, I'm just all pills.
It is. I have 2 handfuls of pills now every day, which is way more than I really want to be taking. But the problem is I keep coming up with, by coming up, I mean finding out about new pills that actually would be good for my lifestyle.
Now, the interesting thing is the taurine does say that it aids and plays an important role in digestion, which a lot of the times I was having the irregular beat, I've noticed it comes with the stomach doing the big gurgling thing. So I wonder if there's a connection with that too. The gut is a big thing.
The gut is pretty big. Yes, especially in tall dudes like you.
So that's a balancing act on all of this.
Yeah.
The other thing I haven't taken now in a few days is vitamin D.
Yeah, you have or haven't?
Have not. I have been on that when there was.
Now, make sure you're taking K2 anytime you're doing a large dose of vitamin D.
Well, that would be the thing, because the vitamin D I noticed I'm on is 5,000 IUs.
Yeah, I do 10,000.
Dude.
Ben does 25,000 every day.
Wow. See, that can cause too. Ultimately.
Well, apparently not until you get to over 100,000.
Really? This is wow.
We've talked about this on the podcast, believe it or not.
This is that's a lot of vitamin D.
It is a lot of vitamin D. I don't think naturally you'd be eating that much fish to ever get anywhere near 25,000.
No, I mean, because I've read on that was, we don't recommend you go over 600 IUs a day, because it can also affect the heart rate. Yeah, I would agree.
But I'm on 10,000 because I originally got prescribed 10,000 like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And then I realized you could buy it non-prescription. And it was right when I moved to Texas. That was a...
Well, yeah, you went from a non-sunny place.
Yeah, to a sunny place. And that means you have to start taking vitamin D.
Although you would have, if you go outside, you could just get some free vitamin D.
Well, no, this is the problem. It's one of those inverse truths, is that people in the southern climates are the ones that generally need the most vitamin D in supplement form. Because while there is more sun, what does that cause? It causes people to put on sunscreen every fucking day.
That'll kill you.
And that means you're now not getting any vitamin D at all. So sunscreen prevents your body from getting any ultraviolet radiation, which prevents it from creating vitamin D at all. Where in the north, you're like, oh my God, it's been like snowing for half a year. Fuck sunscreen. I'm just going to be outside.
Right. So what does the K2 do? Is that help with the?
You need K2. Yeah, K2 is used in the metabolization of vitamin D. So if you have large quantities of vitamin D and small quantities of K2, you're more apt to build up plaque.
Well, that's
which is
not
another way
good.
of saying cholesterol.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
so
put me
you got to
right
have
back
the
where we
K2.
were, right?
Well, pretty much, yeah. Exactly.
Like this. I didn't have high cholesterol until you told me to take the vitamin D.
I know.
Thanks.
Right? Hey, not a medical show.
No, not you. The doctors like take vitamin D. It's like, yeah,
Well, I told you the same thing though.
that's true.
And I think we do need, like, we generally as Americans are under vitamin D-ized, so we all need a little help in that department. But you have to make sure that you don't. That's the problem, is that when you just eat normal foods, they all have a variety of vitamins and minerals in them. And when you start supplementing some on a large scale, it's important to also do the research to understand what is the purpose of that particular supplement and what it interacts with, and then increase those as well, because otherwise you're kind of creating a cholesterol factory.
Yes, which is not good. No bueno.
No bueno at all. So,
and that leads to more medications, which leads to more cash, which leads to more side effects, which leads to nothing good.
So as stupid as it sounds, taking 2 fistfuls of pills every morning, it's still worth doing just to stay on this side of healthy.
Well, and the supplements can do so much. I mean, if you can lower your blood pressure with something like CoQ10 that has almost zero side effects.
Right. And is actually beneficial if you are taking statins.
Yeah, well, it's definitely beneficial if you're taking
damn
statins.
near requirement if you're taking statins.
It's beneficial to your heart, unlike the drugs that you're on for blood pressure, which can cause all sorts of bad things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it. I understand why the doctors go to the drugs, because they can at least control that. And it's very, I don't know, maybe they feel like patients would laugh at them if you're like, well, go to the health food store or Amazon and buy some CoQ10 rather than I'm going to start you on a blood pressure medication. I don't know.
I think there are doctors that do that type of thing as well. I just think that most people don't have those doctors. They don't use them.
Probably true.
I think Adams always referred to his doctor as a voodoo doctor. And I think that's exactly the kind of guy that would tell you to go the supplement route first and foremost.
Yeah, well, try it first. If it doesn't work, there's always more harsh things you can move to.
Yeah.
But
sure.
soon, Adam Curry will just be replaced by an AI. That's what you told me now.
I totally did not tell you that. I don't know where you're pulling that out of, but...
don't worry. I will edit the audio of this show to make it sound like you said exactly that. This is why you can't believe the AIs.
That's why. Okay.
Well, that's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
It is one of the reasons. Since we had no donations today, I mean, I will still mention that we're a value for value show.
Yeah, totally. But don't bother donating. It's not worth it.
Unrelenting.show/donate, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't want to donate here, donate to Random Thoughts, RANDUMB thoughts.com.
Mm-hmm.
Donate to the Rock and Roll Pre-Show. Donate.
Nah, you got enough donations there. You don't need any more.
Donate. I mean, I wonder why that this is the lowest performing.
Well, I've been telling people not to give money for a year. That might have a little something to do with it.
We've got 5 shows. This is the laggard. Is that a word? Laggard?
Mm-hmm.
Lagging behind.
Yeah. I think that's a word.
It's all because they're donating to Sergine Speaks.
We don't take donations at Sergine Speaks.
You're like, no, I won't take your money.
Well, I mean, also nobody donates.
There's a difference between those two things.
They're both true. They're not mutually exclusive. That's fine. That's fine. I think that the only show that I've ever really pushed donations on, and it's very tongue in cheek, but holy shit, did it work, was Griftcast, the YouTube show, because asking people to give money every 5 minutes ends up like having people give you money every 5 minutes.
And you're like, it's part of the show. You're becoming part
It
of the
is
bit.
literally the shtick. It's the part of the show that is directly associated with the title of the show. And I will say I do it a lot more frequently than my co-host on there. And I'm really the co-host of that show. He's the main dude. It's on every single episode. I'm on maybe half the episodes. But I'm also the one that just, totally made fun of the whole, you donate now. It's like nonstop grift, and we've got products we're shilling on there and all kinds of things. Coffee, EMP safety devices for the impending apocalypse.
Well, you have to have that.
Yeah, all kinds of things. Oh, incidentally, I did pick a random person using a random number generator to win the Apple Watch.
Woo!
So that has now been accomplished, and I will be shipping that out this weekend.
Nice. Do we want to say who the winner was? Do we know who the winner was?
The winner had a really weird name on Amazon, and it took me about a week and a half to track down who that person actually was.
Was it Anselmo?
No.
He had the best one.
If I would have picked if I was going to do it just by myself picking one, he would have won. But you
randomized it.
You got to do random number generator things, because otherwise you're not really doing a contest. You're just literally you're hiring somebody.
Right.
You're hiring somebody. Hey, write a really good version of this and I'll pay you.
Well, that's legal. That's legal. Don't worry about that.
It's all legal because there was no purchase necessary. The only thing that was necessary was a review.
The Reverend Dr.
People
Pfeiffer
probably didn't realize that.
coming in. Right. He also, he just sent us 5555 Satoshi, says, also not a pity boost, but obviously a pity boost. That's $1.47. I just looked. Satoshi's up 6.73% today.
They've gone up. Yeah, exactly. But it's over 25% in the last 48 hours.
You think they're going to continue to go up, or is now a good time to turn all my sats into another Amazon gift card?
I would sell right now. Yeah, because my basic plan is whenever it dips under 20, buy. Whenever it goes over 25, sell.
That makes sense. It is in that little range. It seems to be hovering
25%, like not annual, but 25% per short period of time. It's well worth taking that. And then if it stays high, well, then I'll adjust those numbers upwards. But still, about a 5,000 difference between the low and the high is plenty of profit to justify selling it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Who are you using these days? Are you using the same companies?
For which?
For your crypto?
I've been using Alby for the Lightning mainly.
No, I mean for selling crypto.
For selling crypto, I'm just going from Get Alby to buying an Amazon gift card.
Okay. So you're just buying the gift cards.
Yeah, I mean, I can transfer that out, but it's like, it just seems easier to...
Yeah, did you ever buy... What the hell were you going to buy on Amazon? There's something.
No, the other Stream Deck. I still got the other two. Okay, did you update the Stream Deck the other day when they had the update yet? Did you get this?
Mm-hmm.
Did it change every fucking icon on the machine?
It did.
Oh, God.
Yes, it did.
What a bunch of fucking assholes. I was like, are you serious right now? I looked at the...
But they added a backup functionality, so it'll never happen again.
And they've allowed for larger fonts, which I'm also very happy about now.
Mm-hmm.
But when this thing was like right before the Rock and Roll pre-show, because I reboot the machine, it's like, oh, you have an update. Great. Never, because I've updated this. I don't know how many times.
That. You got to know better than that.
I know. There was never a problem before, and it still functioned, but it was just like, wow, this doesn't look right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oops. It's all right. It's still a neat, good little device. And the one with the audio stuff, I don't know if I need it. I've got so many buttons already.
You do have a lot of buttons. I like the little twisty knobs, and
of course you do.
What I've got it set up on the two. I actually got rid of my original smaller one, but I got the twisty knob one, and then I have the big one with a whole bunch of buttons. And I use the smaller one then to select which group of buttons to have on the big one.
That makes sense.
So that way I kind of, my left-handed one determines what I'm going to, mostly, here's what it has. It has the selection of what buttons on the other device, plus it has things like microphone mute, headphone versus speaker.
All good things when you're doing live video, especially.
Current ping rate. It's doing nonstop pinging. And
I've been pinging this whole thing. I did the whole show today while on NordVPN while downloading torrents.
okay.
I wanted to test that out. And I was like, no glitches, no nothing.
It's working. And then uptime. I've got uptime on there just so I know. Like if it gets past like 4 or 5 days, I usually want to reboot it.
You know it's time to hit the reboot.
And I still need to set up my goddamn Mac. People have told me now on several shows, when are you going to set up that Mac?
Yeah, because you're on the M1. The M2's out now, baby.
I know. Yeah, totally. But I'm on the M1 and I just need to plug the damn thing in. I got a 43-inch monitor all ready for it.
We'll do that.
Plug it in.
And again, next week on Friday at this regular time, I'll be at the dentist.
Yeah.
Getting my root canal redo finished.
Should I, since we know ahead of time, should I see if Ben Rose is available and we'll do a show?
Sure. I mean, if you want to do a guest host, you can do that.
Yeah,
or we can see
it might be fun. Might be fun.
You know, otherwise we have later in the day, Friday, if you have that open. Otherwise, nobody donates.
Get some more donations with Ben Rose on than with you.
Could be hate donations, though.
Hey, donations are donations.
This is true. If you want to hate, donate.
And people have a misconception that somehow they keep thinking that Ben Rose and I are going to
fight. Fight.
We agree on damn near everything when we talk.
I mean, you're basically the same person with a different with a different voice since this program in front of you.
I mean, yeah, I'm probably a little more of a gamer. He's a little more of a
gayer.
No, I said gamer.
Oh,
but
no, I was suggesting that for
gayer for him. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's been in a heterosexual relationship for a while.
Can you prove that though? Really?
I mean, lots of cats. So
I don't know if that's making his case or crucifying him. What does lots of cats mean? Does that make you just straight people only have lots of cats?
Means you're a lesbian. So clearly that means he's straight.
Wow. I would not want to misgender. Would not.
Well, would you really not? I think you're just saying that. I think you'd love to misgender.
You're probably right about that.
Uh-huh.
One way or the other, this show will continue at some point in the future. Join us.
With or without you.
Yeah. Is that a U2 song or what?
No, that's just reality.